Hello again, I'm Dr. Nev and I'm a licensed psychologist. This is part 3 of my 5-part series on assertiveness strategies that will help you improve your communication with others. I frequently utilize these strategies with clients in my private practice, and I hope you will find them to be useful as well. If you are experiencing significant emotional distress, please contact your local psychologist. In today's video, we will discuss how to respond to others when they absolutely refuse to take a no for an answer. So the first technique you can use, it's called validating their feelings. So first off, remember that you do not need to accept another person's refusal. So if they ask and you say no and they keep pushing and badgering and refuse to accept it, that is on them, that is not on you. And it doesn't mean that you need to change your mind. So let's stick with that same example from the previous videos of a friend who is asking to borrow $100 and you already said no to them. So they might try to coax you, guilt trip you, plead with you, push you in other ways. And please remember that a repeated refusal to accept your no is disrespectful and indicative of somebody who is trying to manipulate you and control you. So you do not want to feel controlled and manipulated. And if somebody persists with that, you do not need to tolerate that behavior. However, what you can do is validate their feelings. So for example, you might say something like, I know this might be very disappointing for you or inconvenient for you that I'm not able to borrow you this money, but I hope you understand my decision and it is final. So validating their feelings also helps them feel heard and understood, and is one thing that you can do to try to smooth over the situation. The second technique is explaining how their behavior is affecting you. So again, imagine that same friend who asked to borrow $100 and you said no to them, keeps repeatedly badgering and bugging you and pushing you and guilt tripping you. So what helps is you basically telling them something along the lines of, hey, you repeatedly asking me to borrow you money is making me very uncomfortable or annoyed or whatever. So can you please stop asking me? I already said no once and I would appreciate it if you could just drop it. So essentially what you're doing is explaining to them how their repeated requests are affecting you and affecting your feelings, annoyance, distress, anger, whatever it may be. And also I would like you to ask yourself, if the roles were reversed, would you act the same way? If you had asked a friend to borrow the money and they said no to you, would you try to manipulate them? Would you try to push them? Would you try to guilt trip them or give them silent treatment? I would imagine not. So why should they get away with doing the same thing with you? The third and final technique when somebody refuses to accept a no for an answer is to simply stand your ground. Again, if they continue to push or try to punish you or threaten, please hang up the phone or leave that situation right away. You do not deserve to put up with anybody's verbal abuse. And it's okay to tell them that they crossed the line and that you will leave that conversation until they're ready to treat you respectfully and kindly. It also helps to process that situation after the fact with a trusted friend, a colleague, a therapist, pastor, mentor, whoever. And remember that if the person does succeed in getting you to change your mind, all that it teaches them is that you're a pushover and that all they have to do is badger you and that you will eventually change your mind and say yes. So be really careful what you're teaching people about yourself and your boundaries. Remember to trust your gut. If the situation is making you uncomfortable, there is probably a good reason for that. So do not argue or feel pressure to explain yourself if somebody is refusing to accept your no. Remember that no is a complete sentence. If a person decides ultimately to end their relationship with you or to end a friendship with you just because you said no to them, it's probably for the best. Thank you so much for watching part 3 of my 5-part series on assertiveness strategies. If you found this video to be useful, I hope you will check out part 4, where I will discuss how to assertively ask for what you want from others. Please subscribe if you would like YouTube to remind you when these videos become available. Thank you for your time and take care.